All right, here we are with BrokeAss Stuart, everybody. And we're talking to him about, you know, his super cool fucking BrokeAss Stuart website, magazine, history, media mogul dude guy in San Francisco, and generally just an all-around fucking hilarious guy. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. By here, I mean, I guess in my own room, but yeah.
Totally. Yeah. In my kitchen. I'm in my kitchen. So I guess we should
Awesome.
start up. I think we should start out because you told me that you used to live in the Haight, and I'm kind of just, do you want to just start there because this is the Haight Street Voice? Maybe a break in that way about, give me a story about living in the Haight. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. So yeah, the first place I lived was Haight and Central. It's a big building right there in the corner across from the park. And I had an internship at Bill Graham Presents. I went to college in Santa Cruz, so it was between my junior and senior of college. And I came up to the city, and me and my buddy Monty, we basically lived in a living room with no door, and we each had like an air mattress, and we were like, and it was glorious. We were 21 years old. It was glorious, you know. And it was a great place to like flop into the city on, and got to explore. You know, 2002 it was a very different city. You could just like, if you walk down the street, you just meet somebody like, hey, want to smoke a joint? Yeah, let's smoke a joint. End up in the rooftop and hang out all day, drinking beer, smoking joints, and like it was just a typical thing that happened, you know.
Yeah.
So many fun weirdos. But a crazy little stories. I actually found my neighbor dead in that building in the hall.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, you know, been living there for a little while, and the guy had a heart attack and like fell, and I had to like call 911. It was crazy. Like I've only living in the city for like a month or so before that happened.
Well, you got that out of the way, I guess. I have to say, I've lived here almost all my life.
It was great experience.
Okay, as media woman,
eventually.
Yeah, media woman to media man. Let's see if I can. It's always so hard to do that. You know, I admire so profusely what you're doing, and I you know, hats off. Even though if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off right now, but instead my head's just disappearing. But you know, my wonderful magazine that I love so much from my heart is starting to get legs, and it's really exciting. And you know, I was asking you earlier how you survived, and it sounds like these days Patreon has definitely been a really wonderful support for you. Not to give them a free ad, but maybe they deserve it. But maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, as always, keep your day job. You know, unfortunately, we don't have all day jobs right now because it's a pandemic. But yeah, I mean, I've been slowly building this thing for like almost 20 years now, which is insane to say. And so you know, there's many ways that we make money, at least traditionally, but a lot of, you know, it was advertising and selling merch and Patreon, but a lot of that's harder to do now because of the pandemic messed things up. So Patreon's been really, really helpful, and our Patreon's grown quite lovely in the past year because people realize like, well, if we don't support BrokeAss Stuart and the website, it's not going to be here anymore. And, you know, at this point, like 17 years in, some people have literally grown up with it, you know? And so I think that realizing that, like, and I think this is a larger conversation that people are starting to realize how important it is that things you consume for free aren't necessarily made for free.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's a little distance people have to realize. And because of that, you know, getting people to realize that allows them to be like, oh, well, I read this all the time. I should give them $5 a month, or you know, I really appreciate that, and I can afford a little more. I'll give them $10 a month, whatever that is. And Patreon has literally changed. I don't know what I'd be doing right now without it. There would be no BrokeAss Stuart without Patreon at this moment.
Well, I think also to join in on that conversation is that you and I would like to. I mean, I'm honored to maybe put myself in the same sentence as what you're doing, because you're doing a lot more. Like, it's not just hyper local. It's like you do national, and you know, you do bigger news. I'm more of like a culture, arts, you know, it's more like, I don't even know the word for it, but the point being is we're both community journalism. We're both local journalism. We are local journalists living in our city that we're writing about. And I think people need to value that or understand the value of that, or maybe throw us a bone once in a while, because it's not easy, but it is passionate. We are both passionate about where we live, obviously, and the people and the downtrodden and the voice of the people. That's why I'm called Haight Street Voice, right? So, yeah, I think it's really beautiful that you bring attention to things that NBC, or where I used to work, they're not necessarily going to do that, because their ratings are going to go down, or the boss might get mad, or we don't have that limitation. So, and that's so precious these days, right?
Oh, you're frozen. Oh, you're not frozen. Oh. You're back. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, the whole thing. Sometimes I think about what I could do and what I could achieve if I had lots of money to do it, but I don't. And I also, to get that money, I'd have to be beholden to people I don't necessarily want to be beholden to.
Right.
But and as things progress, we're seeing all over the country. Maybe I don't know about the world, but definitely all over the country. Local media is drying up, right? And so we are filling a void that necessarily that needs to be filled. And if we do it with heart and compassion, and with thinking about how we can use our voice to uplift other people, like that's all I want to do. All I want to do is use whatever platform and privilege I have to help other people. And so along with that, getting people to realize the importance is, if you look back 50 years ago, even 100 years ago, like 100 years ago, every trade had its own newspaper. It was really easy to unionize, because you had, if you were a tailor, there was a tailor's newspaper. If you were longshoreman, there's a longshoreman newspaper. And so and with that idea, with that dissemination of information, you could really gather people together and unify them. And it's really hard nowadays, because people are less unified, because there's too many streams of information and not enough focus on authority giving that information truth and value. And I think that's kind of like where local media can step in, is that like you said, NBC is not going to cover the shit that's happening to the liquor store guy at a Haight and Masonic or whatever,
Yeah.
And so, or is that, and so, yeah. And so I think that
yeah, in fact, there was a smash and grab on Haight Street literally yesterday at noon, and I was just out grabbing milk or something, and it sucks, but yeah, I was able to post, like, there was just a smash and grab. Like, I took a picture of the fucking car that somebody literally drove up, smashed the window, grabbed the shit, and drove off. That kind of stuff. It's, sadly, we are able to report that kind of stuff.
Right.
Do you find, I just came across this, we're free willing here, kids, but do you find that people want more video or more text, or is it kind of a combo?
Who knows what people want, to be honest? I don't know if people know what they want. That's a large conversation. We are not necessarily able to do much video, honestly, because like that's a more expensive team with you need a team to put people, or you need to devote yourself to editing, filming, all that stuff. So we do mostly text-based. I do, some video stuff on my phone, like hey, blah 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 blah, but like I'm not very polished with that stuff.
Is this Paul? I'm not polished whatsoever. And my publisher said, well, that's part of what you're doing right now, is you don't have the money to be polished, and you don't necessarily want to be polished, because, I'm not saying it won't get there, because then maybe my arms won't disappear. But, I love being able to walk down Haight Street, and if I see something, being able to film. I mean, the community, what do they call it? Citizen journalism, sort of. I think that that's really valuable. And maybe that's why, I do respect the fact that your journalism and your stuff is really, it's fucking badass journalism. I mean, your stuff is like,
thank you.
It really, I respect it so highly, and yeah, I really do.
It's mostly other writers. At this point, I'm just more the publisher than anything, because like I got into this whole thing like a million years ago to be an art dude. I'm an art dude, and so I want to write, move people, and make them feel things, and I somehow ended up being a kind of a business dude along the way. And I'm much better being an art dude than a business dude, but I got to do this thing, and this thing is now much bigger than I am, and I have to make sure I could pay people who do the stuff they do and all that. And so at this point, we have lots of different writers doing incredible work, and I'm more of anything just in the background, trying to keep the thing afloat and trying to think of creative ways to move forward and grow.
Well, I saw this is a little bit of a tangent, but the Jeremy Fish T-shirt is badass. And here's a shout out to his event tomorrow at the Haight Street Arts Center. I'll be there as the media interviewing people, and luckily they're one of my big supporters. Actually, they have a big ad on the back of my magazine for June. But Haight Street Arts Center, we love you, thank you. And Jeremy Fish, an amazing artist, in his residency here at the Doolin Larson Building. Such an interesting. Well, the art's amazing, but his story and all of that. Are you going to be there tomorrow? Are you going to be there, Stuart? You're going to be at the Haight Street?
I got a bunch of things I got to do, but it sounds great.
Damn it. Well, you can watch the video on Haight Street Boys. Okay, so there's that.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to
that. Sorry, I just went for a run. I was telling you earlier, but I said, you know, if I have to worry about what I look like on these, it's more about the content rather than the hairdo, right?
Right. I'm not even go pants. I just sweatpants. So, you know.
I have sweats on. I won't go that far. Although maybe I'd get more sales that way, or more hits. Who knows? What's it? You know how they always point down there to subscribe? Ooh. Oh, point. Ooh. So what would you say is the most rewarding thing to everything that you do? What's the really, like, what keeps you doing it?
Free drugs. Oh no, I'm kidding. It's honestly, it's getting to getting to amplify voices that don't necessarily always get heard, and getting to use my platform to help people as much as I can, you know. And sometimes it can be really helpful, sometimes it doesn't help anybody, but it's cool that, like, you know, people for some reason read my stuff and listen to me, and through that I'm able to push opinions towards some ways and help get the word out. I mean, we probably write about in a normal year, who knows, the past year's been crazy, but in a normal year we probably cover like at least 70 nonprofits and charities, you know, just like getting the word out there about stuff, you know, because who else is going to do that, you know? And we do a lot of activism, a lot of like turning people out to protests, and getting people to show up places where we need feet on the ground and butts in seats, you know, and also supporting local businesses and small businesses for years and years and years. It's been so important to us to like help these small businesses succeed, because, you know, the small businesses, that's what people come to San Francisco for. They come here to see, you know, the big orange bridge and the pretty Victorians, but also for all the cool culture and art and stuff. And, you know, like, that's what we do, is we support that. And so that, I look at what we do as a community, good for the community, and it's a service to a certain sense.
Cool. Thank you. Oh yeah, I was speaking about this earlier. So the next title for the magazine, everybody out there, that comes out June 6th, the next print edition. Here's my plug. It's called A Renaissance is Rumbling in San Francisco, and hyper locally and globally. I think a renaissance is rumbling probably globally, but specifically here in the Haight. All the shops, there's 3 new shops that are going to pop up. And do you feel that the renaissance is rumbling here in San Francisco?
100%. I think that right now we saw a catastrophic past year. You know, what is it, like 500,000 dead Americans through some shit that, like, you know, through malfeasance and fuckery from the Trump administration, the way they handle things. And we saw a devastation of our businesses and of our, it's been a horrible year. But I mean, right now in San Francisco, I think it's
60% of the businesses in San Francisco died. 60% or more. Did you know that?
60?
60.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
crazy.
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, at this point, the people who are here, I feel like they really want to be here, you know, and I think because of that, you know, because there's a lot of people who are just here for jobs before, and that's fine, but they didn't often give a shit enough to give back to the city in lots of ways. And so the people who are here believe in the city and want to see it grow and be the best city that it can be. And it feels like, you know, there's a vibe coming, and the people are Twitter pated, you know, they're like ready to get out there and do it and be part of it all. It's great.
My friend has a theory. He has a theory that anybody can go out and be a musician right now, because he could really suck and everybody be like, yeah, there's music. Like, it's a good time for These bad musicians to go have fun. I thought that was funny. Okay. What do you do to relax? Oh, what? Go ahead.
It feels like senioritis right now. That's what it feels like.
Say again.
There's a lag. Yeah. Right now, it feels like I have senioritis. Like I feel, sorry, it feels like I have senioritis. You know, like when the last semester of high school, and you can see the future, and you know something cool's gonna happen, but you're still stuck watching the clock. That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah, jumping at the bit. Yeah. What do you do to relax? How do you relax?
I play video games sometimes. I go on walks and listen to podcasts and listen to music. I drink and talk shit with my friends.
Oh, you froze.
You know, am I back? Am I frozen still? All right.
You're good. You're good.
I don't know. Did you? So yeah, I play video games. I go on walks. I drink with my friends when I can, in parks these days, and sometimes parklets. You know, my wife and I just went on a little adventure last week. We got up to the Sierra foothills, or kind of outside of Tahoe, which was really nice.
I think I saw that. I saw a picture.
Very COVID safe.
I saw a picture of you like in a frog suit or some sort of green. You were wearing some weird green hat or something. I saw. Yeah.
I was a tree. So yeah, you know, typical stuff. It's great.
Okay, and then I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, we talked about your goals then and now. It's helping the locals. So okay, we'll just stop. I mean, we'll end it with this, which is this is Haight Street Voice, hyper local journalism with a global perspective. So what would you like to say to not only the Haight Ashbury folks in the community, but to the community worldwide? What would you like to say to people all, you know, here and all over the world? You know,
we got to look after each other. That's the only way we win, is if we work together and we grow and we collectively organize to take care of ourselves and each other. As we've seen, the people at the top do not care about us. They've never cared about us. And anything they say that makes it seem like they do is a lie in a way to make money off of us. So look out for each other, spend money locally. Don't use Uber and Lyft unless you have to. Don't shop at Amazon at all, because it just takes you one more step just to get the same thing done without them. You spend your money with your local businesses, and take care of your neighbors. That's how we win, you know. Support unions, support people who are fighting for the betterment of everybody, and don't trust the police, and look out for each other. That's it.
And support your local journalism, people. Go to Patreon and give us a little bit of money, even if it's 50 cents. We don't care, right? But I mean, absolutely. I'm speaking.
Definitely support your local journalisms. Goddamn yes, support us for sure.
All right. Thank you for being here, man. Lots of love. And hopefully I'll meet you in person soon. Okay.
I hope so too. I'll be vaccinated in mid-May.
Okay. Me too. Me too. I get my second one in May. So
yay.
Lots of love. I'll see you out there in the world.
Yay.
Okay. Peace, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care. All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.